In case it's not obvious, I'm human, just like you. I promise. Flesh and bone to the core.
Human.
And as human beings, the only thing that's really constant in our lives is change. The sooner that we can embrace this, the smoother the ride we'll have. There are some changes we have control over, and there are many that we don't. One of the changes we don't necessarily have control over is our taste, what we like and what we don't like. If you think about it, we don't actually get to choose that. You can change your attitude towards something, no matter how you feel about it, but in terms of how it chemically affects you, you can't really pick that. But it will change over time depending on what you're exposed to. So there are fragrances that I have smelled over the years that were not love at first sniff. But with time, I've come around to them, some of them greatly, and they've become some of my most favorite fragrances. That is one of the most exciting things about life as a human. You never know what change is around the corner and what kind of enriching qualities it will bring to your life. So I'm going to share with you 8 fragrances that, for lack of a better term, I did not like. I thought they were bad when I first tried them, and I feel way differently about them today. One of these fragrances was sent to me by Joma Shop, and a lot of you guys probably already know Joma Shop. They are an online fragrance retailer. They have a vast variety of fragrances, such a large collection, thousands of fragrances from probably hundreds of brands. And right now they have a fantastic summer sale going on. They wanted me to let you guys know in case you wanted to take advantage of getting some great deals on some fragrances that you already like. Maybe you need to re-up, or maybe something you've been looking into getting. I would check out their catalog, see if their prices suit your fancy, see if their selection suits your fancy, and I think it will. The link to the sale will be the first link below the like button. So with all that out the way, let's dive into these 8 fragrances that I used to think were bad, but I really like them now. The first one up here is probably the biggest surprise to me. Again, Joma Shop sent this over to me. I had formed my opinion about it based on how I smelled it years ago when it first came out. I got a sample of this stuff. It was not my jam. I'm not even going to go into what it smelled like, but it just rubbed me the wrong way. But today, I liked the vibe of this. I liked how I was feeling while I was wearing it. In fact, I think I liked that even more than how it smells. Let me try to explain. This is from Yves Saint Laurent. This is why Eau de Parfum. Nothing new. You guys have heard of this fragrance. You guys have probably smelled this. Some of you guys might own it. Some of you guys may not care about this fragrance. All is fair. But this came in the mail the other day. I sprayed it on and I was genuinely surprised how I felt when I was wearing it. I just decided to go for a full wearing and I was loving the vibe. As I said, the overall package of a scent, what I call the energy of a scent, is what I really liked about this. On the surface, it is a simple, clean, masculine fragrance. There is aromatic qualities. There are fruity qualities, woody, maybe herbal qualities, maybe a little bit spicy, very fresh, very clean smelling. Something that almost no one would dislike on you as long as you don't overspray it like crazy. But I see why this is one of the most famed in the line. I know a lot of people like the Parfum version. I actually haven't tried that yet. But if there is a top of the heap with this collection, I do think it's the EDP. And I think many of you guys would agree. I really like it. I never thought I would utter those words about why Eau de Parfum, because I can't say it moves me beyond words. But again, it's that vibe, the way it was moving around me, the way I was experiencing it as I went about my day through the world, which is very different from spraying it on your hand or on a blotter and just sniffing it up close. That is not realistic. I can say my opinions have changed on this. That is YSL, YEDP. Believe it or not, I hated this fragrance when I first tried it. From the House of Creed, one of their most popular fragrances, I think this is a timeless masterpiece. This is Silver Mountain Water. When I first tried this, it just smelled like weird, fresh, icy ink. It was just weird to me. I hated it. I could not scrub it off my skin fast enough. Again, this was many years ago. Nowadays, I love this stuff. It is such an iconic scent profile. It has influenced a lot of other fragrances on the market, and it does not smell like it came out in the 1990s. It smells like it could have come out at any point in time. It is this alpine, icy, cold, fresh tea with bergamot, with a little bit of fruity, tart, black currant, some muskiness in there perhaps. It's an experience in a bottle. I love the way it makes me feel. I love how it's kind of transportive. It smells like snow melting on a mountain into a cold stream. You get the cold mountain air. There's just something very natural about it. It's a really special scent profile. Because it's so specific, not everyone's gonna love it. That is the magic of specificity. And I fell on one side of the fence, but now I'm on the other. That is Silver Mountain Water from Creed. This fragrance was also a pretty strong hate. I just didn't understand it. I got a decant of this many years ago. I was surprised to see that the juice was green. I don't know if you knew the juice of this fragrance is actually green, and I'll try to show you in the B-roll when I show you the bottle. And I sprayed it on and I scrubbed it off. Didn't get it. Fahrenheit Parfum. I love this stuff now, and my wife really enjoys it when I wear it. Oh man. I think this is the perfect representation of a parfum flanker. It takes the original Fahrenheit, which is an iconic DNA, and it gives it not only a richer presence in terms of that DNA, but also a slight twist in terms of personality on this identity. It is kind of boozy. There's this interesting licorice vibe. There's a smooth but not overly edible smelling vanilla in there to go along with that violet leaf freshness, that leather, which I think they've substituted for suede in this one. It's a little bit more of a rounder experience, perhaps a little bit less fresh, which makes it a little bit less versatile. More fall, winter vibes, maybe spring as well. Something I would say for the evening time. Smells classy, smells confident. You can check this out at Joma Shop if you haven't already. I was surprised to see they have it in stock. That is Dior Fahrenheit Parfum. Let's move over to the house of Tom Ford. I first tried this in a Sephora around the time I started my fragrance journey many years ago. I saw this fragrance in the men's section. I sprayed it, and then I was like, why is this in the men's section? I literally had to run away from the blotter that I just sprayed because I didn't want people to think I was in Sephora trying women's perfume.
Very secure individual, as you can see.
I've definitely grown since then. This is Black Orchid. This is the original Eau de Parfum. I'll be honest with you guys, I don't wear this fragrance a ton these days, but it's one of those scents that I don't see myself parting with ever. It's such a special scent profile. There's nothing in my collection that smells like this outside of the Parfum version, which I have and also enjoy. I think this is a masterpiece. I think that even if you don't like this fragrance, which you're entitled to, we can't deny the impact that it has. We can't deny how unique it is as a scent profile. It is perfectly unisex, but I can see why they kind of shifted it to being more male focused. This is for a very confident guy. This is almost like fruity floral in a way. There's this kind of tropical, damp floral quality that is sweet. In this particular fragrance, the orchid note has a little bit of this beachy feel, almost like coconut in a way, but there's something about this. I think it's the earthy truffle or something in here that makes it smell dark, makes it smell a little bit funky, just a little bit, just enough to give it some edge. So it makes it feel maybe a little bit more masculine than it would be just being fruity and floral. If you haven't tried this one yet, I don't know what you're waiting on. Do yourself a favor and check it out. If you have tried it, I'd love to know what you think. Again, I know it's a little polarizing, so whether or not you like it, let me know down in the comments. That is Tom Ford Black Orchid. This was another fragrance that I first experienced in a Sephora, sprayed the blotter and had to leave the area immediately, but not because I thought it was too feminine, but because I just thought it was dirty. This is Terre the Eau de Toilette, and I think I was influenced by YouTube before I smelled this fragrance. I can't say for sure. I was hearing it smelled like a dirty orange, and I think that did affect my experience of it, but I don't think I was ready for vetiver anyway. So regardless of knowing that information or not, I think I would have not liked this when I first tried it. I had no experience with vetiver. Now vetiver is one of my favorite notes. It is this grassy, woody ingredient that is known to add a bit of an earthy quality. Some people say a bit of this masculine, sexy quality. It's a multifaceted ingredient depending on where it comes from and how it's used. It can also be smoky and leathery. It can be very clean and green. There's lots of faces to vetiver here. It is on the woody, dry side of things, a tad bit earthy, definitely some orange in there, definitely some spices. It is kind of fresh, citrusy, a little bit mouth-watering. There's definitely a dry, woody component, but there are some aroma chemicals in there. I think maybe ambroxan or isoe super. I can't remember which one. That kind of fills out the scent, gives it this slightly unnatural muskiness, which might not sound great, but I think it suits the profile very well, and it makes it diffuse in a very particular way that makes it smell like something that should be on the body. Makes it smell even more masculine, I think. Gives it almost a cleanliness to this dirty, earthy profile. Hermes Eau de Toilette. Let me know your thoughts on this one. I first tried this in a perfumery local to me here right around the time I moved here. I'd always wanted to try this fragrance because I was just getting into the house of Roja Parfum. I gave this a spray expecting to love it, had to put it down immediately. It smelled like an old man to me. Never thought I would come back to it again. This is Scandal Parfum, and I think what made me start to enjoy this fragrance was that I finally experienced the newer Parfum Cologne version of it, which is a lighter, brighter, more transparent, and perhaps more accessible version of this DNA. I fell headfirst into that fragrance, fell in love with the DNA, then came back around to the Parfum version, which is much more dense and rich, and I love the Parfum about as much as I love the Parfum Cologne. This is an aromatic fougere. This is such a classy man's fragrance. It smells a little bit old school in a way. There is this old world sophistication to this scent. You're gonna smell like money wearing this fragrance, so be warned. You want to have a vibe that suits that. You want to wear it to situations and occasions where it makes sense to smell very rich. Clean lavender, kind of soapy, barbershop like. Lots of moss in here, lots of bright citruses. There is a little bit of this animalic edge in here. I don't know if there's technically any animalic notes, but it does have a little bit of prickliness to it, and I think that's what makes it smell a little bit old manish as I thought before, but now I just love it. The fougere is timeless, can't go wrong. That is Roja Parfum Scandal. The reason why I hated Killian's Angel Share when I first tried it was because I got a decant of it. I don't know if that decant was pure. I think it was in a plastic vial, and maybe because the plastic got involved, or maybe the way it was shipped or packaged, I don't know what it was, but that decant of Angel Share, when I first sprayed it on my hand years ago, smelled like burning rubber with a little bit of cinnamon. Definitely not something you want to wear and call sexy. So I figured that's what Angel Share smells like on me, I guess. I guess it's not for me. I'll probably never come back to it. I finally got curious after several years. I got this bottle, and I see why people like this fragrance. From this bottle, it does not smell like burning rubber. This is delicious. This is a rich, sweet, warm, spicy, woody fragrance. Lots of sweet booze in here, cinnamon for sure. Kind of does smell like a cinnamon roll drenched in some kind of whiskey. It has a wet feeling while being dry and spicy and cozy. It's something to wear for the cooler months, especially in the evening. That is Killian Angel Share. And the final fragrance is a scent I have to be honest with you. When I first tried this, I didn't hate it, but I wasn't ready for it, and I knew that in time I would appreciate it more. From Tom Ford, once again, this is Oud Minerale in its new presentation. I have an older bottle as well that you can't find anymore. The formulations are not 100% identical, but the same personality is in both bottles. I think it's just maybe a little bit more accessible here. I have a video on my YouTube channel you can go back to and see me giving my live first impressions of this fragrance. To me, it smelled like an old shipwreck, or being out on the ocean in a storm and there's driftwood and it's kind of smoky. Maybe there's a fire on the ship or something. That's the vibe I was getting here. It's seaweedy, it's salty, oceanic, no real sweetness at all. It is fresh, but it's dark, and I think it's that smoky nature that contributes to that. A very iconic scent profile. It's something that if you like aquatic fragrances, you may not love this. It's not your typical aquatic. It has a strong personality to it, and I appreciate that about it. But ironically enough, I've seen a lot of you guys say you get a lot of compliments when you wear this fragrance, which is cool. So you never know what's going to be likable in the air. Don't just go off of putting it up your nose. It's all about that vibe. You spray it on, you get it around you, you wear it out into the world. You'll be surprised how you'll feel about it, how others will feel about it. So make sure you're giving your fragrances full wearings. I'm glad I came back around to this, gave it some full wearings, and realized this stuff is for me. I really like Oud Minerale. I'm glad they brought it back. That is Tom Ford Oud Minerale. If there's any of these fragrances that you've maybe had a similar experience with, maybe came to it, didn't love it, came back around later, now you love it, or maybe you've come back around, you still don't like it. Again, there's no wrong here. I never want you to feel like you're wrong for not liking something everyone loves, because I see some comments like that of people saying, I don't know what's wrong, it smells weird on me, am I missing something? And I'm like, no. Again, you can't control what your brain likes and what it doesn't like, so don't force it. Maybe come back around later, maybe don't. Life will move on, world keeps on spinning. Make sure you check out the sale at Joma Shop. It's going to be the first link down below the like button. Thank you so much for tuning in. Peace. I'll see you in the next one.